Hi, today I want to talk about gun control and how you want to enforce it. Now, I understand that there's people you don't want to be able to get their hands on certain weapons, and certain weapons in general you don't want people to be able to get their hands on. But the question is, where do we draw a line? How do we decide where the line is? And what is constitutional? What point do we need to amend the Constitution versus just passing laws? Because I'm pretty sure we're already past the point of where we should have amended the Constitution. I'm pretty sure we're already unconstitutional. A lot of what we've done. That's not what I'm not here to argue the constitutionality. I'm here to ask and discuss what do we think the line is, and how do we intend to enforce that line. For example, you're saying I, should not be able to own an automatic rifle. Okay, I understand that logic. I shouldn't be able to walk into a public square and take out 100 people in under a minute. Which, by the way, realistically, not how that would go down with an automatic rifle. You'd end up shooting the sky mostly if you tried to do something like that. You'd have to change magazines out very quickly, etc., etc. They're not nearly as efficient as people think they are at killing machines, but don't get me wrong, they're incredibly dangerous if in the wrong hands. But how are you gonna enforce it that I can't have that weapon? You can pass a law, but if you think just passing a law is gonna make it go away, that means that there's no more heroin on the streets and there's no more murder. Um, Realistically, the only way you could keep that weapon out of my hands, or at least stop me from using it, is to have someone with equal or greater firepower, whether it's talent or better weaponry. Uh, the big issue that I'm seeing right now is that the big thing going lately has been defund the police, which has meant everything from abolish the police altogether, which a lot of people are saying that, oh, no one ever said that. AOC said it out loud. She said it out on Twitter. A whole bunch of other big deal file lefties have said something about it in terms of abolishing the police. But for the most part, you get people saying that it's demilitarize. If you give them that option anyway, demilitarize the police or reform them. Well, if you're going to demilitarize the police, how are they going to have greater weaponry than the people that they're supposed to be stopping? Uh, I mean, just realistically. Let's go down that constitutional rabbit hole. It says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. How many people that support the Second Amendment, wholeheartedly, think you should be able to go to the store and buy a hand grenade? Because I don't see the difference between a hand grenade and a bow when it comes to it being a weapon, an armament. Do we think people should be able to be buying hand grenades? Because realistically, gang wars would get real out of control very quickly. People tossing hand grenades in barbershop windows as they run by. Drive-by shootings are bad enough. Can you imagine drive-by grenades or RPGs? I don't know. This is a murky hole to venture down. Nobody ever actually wants to have a conversation about it. They make their argument and then they walk away. You got people on the left saying you shouldn't be able to just kill people. Okay, well, it's already illegal to kill people. Then you got people on the not even the right. The Second Amendment's got folks saying you shall not be infringed. It's like, well, realistically, I don't think Bob the wackadoo down the street should be able to have a nuclear weapon. Or let me rephrase that. Not even Bob the wackadoo. I don't think Jeff Bezos should be allowed to own a nuclear weapon in the United States. If anyone could buy one, it'd be the guy worth $150 billion. I think maybe we need to get together and discuss as a nation what we consider appropriate. But the police shall never be more powerful than us, and I think they should be, the police should never have better firepower than the people. The government should be afraid of the people, not the other way around. But I also don't want someone setting off ridiculous ordinance in my neighborhood. Now you should be allowed to own all that professional, high grade, what the hell stuff, like grenades and RPGs, tanks. But it should be a little more difficult than just not having a felony on your record. But does anyone remember the Killdozer guy? Took a bulldozer, welded up all those plates all over it, went on a rampage and destroyed everything because the city basically ruined his life. And then, well, I'm pretty sure he killed himself. But the police couldn't get to him. He built his own little tank, went nuts in, I think it was California. Tore entire buildings down. That guy could have been a lot more dangerous had he thought to install weaponry versus just, a bulldozer that was bulletproof. I don't know. And then, then you get into the argument I just made about the true Second Amendment folk that should believe they should be able to have hand grenades. Then what's the difference between that and making your own explosives? Because that's insanely illegal. Like, holy crap, you're going to prison forever for improvising an explosive device, making an IED. But realistically, according to the interpretation I'm getting from a lot of people of the Second Amendment, IEDs should not be illegal. Not only that, they should be constitutionally protected, which seems a little crazy to me. Maybe, a homemade bomb doesn't count as an armament. I get that, but a landmine does, and anyone who graduated high school chemistry can build a landmine that detonates when it gets stepped on, or even a bouncing Betty that shoots up out of the ground and detonates at waist level. I don't know. I'd like to hear some actual conversation about this versus just talking points. Because if we want to find something that we can all actually agree on, which we never will. But I think it's a big deal to bring up that we need to amend the Constitution versus just trying to pass laws around it. So let's get together and decide what we can say. All right, I'll concede here, you'll concede there. Kind of like how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to get together and discuss this, and then everyone gives a little, and no one's all the way happy. That's how you know a good deal happened, is when no one comes out smiling. Problem is, we're stuffing so much crap into these bills that are getting signed because they're urgent. Like the stimulus bill. We're all gonna get $600, and they stuffed $700 billion worth of other stuff in there so that no one could read it because it had to get signed tonight. And that's the issue, is that we're not having conversations about this stuff. We're just going along to get along. Please give me feedback. Let me know where you stand. Do you think I should be allowed to have an RPG? Do you think I shouldn't be allowed to own a bow? What kind of process should we have to go through to get what kind of weaponry? Should I have to go through a bigger step to get a shotgun versus a bow, and a pistol versus a shotgun, and a pistol versus a tank? This could be a fun conversation. Hit me back, please.